In the reading from the Gospel, Jesus heals a woman who has suffered for 12 years from a flow of blood. According to the laws of her time, as long as a woman has a flow of blood, she is considered impure, and anything and anyone she touches would also become unclean. Being considered ritually unclean meant that this woman could not pray with her people, including in the synagogues and in the temple. The greatest suffering this woman experienced was not so much that she was sick, but rather that she was considered to be a social outcast by her people who rejected her. In a desperate attempt to be healed and once more experience social contacts from others, the woman went to many doctors, but none of the doctors whom she saw were able to help her. Instead, these doctors took all the money she had. Alone, feeling isolated, abandoned, and cold, she hears about Jesus. Approaching Jesus, she touches his cloak, believing, "If I but touch his clothes, I shall be cured." Immediately, records Mark, she is cured and her flow of blood dries up. Often, when we hear this passage, we might be tempted to look down upon the ancient Jewish people and their laws. But is this the right attitude? As a biblical scholar explains, this likely is not the right approach, since God saves us through stages. A beginning stage in being moral and growing in holiness is to separate ourselves from that which influences us negatively, that which influences us badly. We separate ourselves from that. One way to separate ourselves from what is negative and bad is to reject symbols and reminders of death and destruction, such as the loss of blood, while surrounding ourselves with life-affirming symbols. While acknowledging that this is a beginning stage in being moral, Jesus invites us to be challenged by his higher and better morality, his new, renewed morality. Jesus' morality is based not so much on excluding people. It's actually not based on excluding people who are associated with death, but rather entails including people, and specifically these people. Jesus reveals his morality by deliberately eating with outcasts, with tax collectors and public sinners. Jesus also reveals his divine redeeming power by not contracting impurity from the sick woman. Instead, Jesus' saving power cleanses and flows out of him to heal the sick woman. Jesus teaches us that the height of holiness is not about separating ourselves more and more and more from that which we consider bad and impure, but rather includes cleansing, elevating, and redeeming the impure and sinful that we come in contact with. Since by our baptism we have been incorporated into the life of Jesus, we are invited to participate in Jesus' new life of holiness that is outgoing, on mission to others, especially those deemed as public sinners. However, since we are not completely holy, we are to live this new life with caution as we navigate what one theologian has called a painful between state, the state of experiencing moments of life in Jesus and moments of being caught up by our weaknesses and aspects of our fallen natures that still need to be touched and healed by Jesus before we can heal others. This means that sometimes we may need to honestly acknowledge to ourselves that since I am a beginner in the life of holiness, I need to separate myself from others, since unlike Jesus, who always healed and elevated all he encountered, I might adopt the bad ways of thinking and acting of those I encounter, and whom I even might in the beginning try to help. At the same time, we also are to pray to the Holy Spirit to help us discern how we can become more outgoing so that the life of Jesus can flow through us, healing all those we encounter. May God bless you all.